Let's find a common ground, okay? Would you say the mandatory draft should apply to women like it does to men?
Someone's got the devil to pay.
We Democrats are fighting them very hard. We have, Democrats are learning to do the digital social media much better than we did before. And I'll tell you one thing. We are united in going after Trump.
I can only say one thing, Chuck. Keep doing whatever it is you're doing. I mean, your new social media strategy, just days ago you had 23 Democrats, including yourself, reading the exact same script, word for word, attacking Trump while holding one of those mini microphones, I guess to look like a TikTok Zoomer, all to appear authentic and relatable, not realizing that it made you look the opposite. Fake, cringe, and ridiculous, just like your party. And people can see that. People see the fakery and the fuckery, Chuck. So, if you see that as unity to go against Trump, by all means, keep the energy, because honestly, although it's kind of sad to watch, it's pretty entertaining.
For women out there in America, if you are leaving a marriage, first of all, I applaud you for making a decision for you and doing what's right for you. It's hard to pick yourself when you become one with somebody because you're one. And then all of a sudden, when things are bad, you have to just choose you. Yeah. So I went into a business that I was passionate about, which is decor and hair, and I'm acting now, so.
Well, Portia, after listening to all of that, I see why you had 2 failed marriages. We should encourage women not to leave a marriage. Of course, there are exceptions like abuse and other things, but when you say to women out there, I applaud you for making decisions for you and doing what's right for you, it's not all about you. You make decisions that's good for the outcome of your children, which is to grow up with something called a father in the household. I mean, study after study shows that kids with both parents do better with grades, friends, and future, okay? So I think with that advice of yours, you're basically encouraging women to follow your path, sacrifice their kids to play the main character, maybe have a career if they're lucky, yet still end up miserable like Whoopi.
There's all these people who hate Meghan Markle and then go and watch the show so that they can then post about how much they hate Meghan Markle. If you hate her so much, don't watch the show. Don't talk about her. It's all these people who, they exist just to be internet trolls.
Well, I won't say people are trolling her. I mean, the reviews are coming in, and even the leftist media who worship her, by the way, they are ripping the show, calling it an ego trip, inauthentic, and pointless. Maybe just like this show, I don't know. Which honestly is a win for her, because the show is a flop, and she might finally get the privacy that she craves, since no one is watching anyway. So I wish Meghan and her wife a good luck. They will need it.
Maybe some of what's happening, they're trying to take apart the Department of Education.
Yes.
Maybe that is a good thing, because maybe it will force us to make sure that our kids actually get what they need. Maybe it'll force us to go to our state and say, listen, I want to make sure, since you're taking all this money from my taxes, I want to make sure that my kids get exactly what they need. I don't have to wait for the government to do it. We can do it. This is now in our hands.
Well, Whoopi, that's a very interesting take there, because you've been wailing and wallowing about Trump's every single move, including dismantling the Department of Education. And now you're saying that maybe that's a good thing, since dismantling it would shift the control to the states. So I'm not sure if you realize this, but for the first time, you just agreed with Trump. You just became a Trump supporter. I don't understand.
Just part of the problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. So when you come in and you say, oh, these men, these are men, you know,
Competing against
competing against women. You're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue.
Well, it's an issue because men are physically stronger than women, Whoopi. That's just science and biology.
All these guys, not just him, they're frequently wrong but never in doubt. When you have a lot of people saying yes to you all the time, and they're in violent agreement with you. And then when someone pushes back, they become the enemy after a while. And they live in these worlds that are increasingly small and comfortable. And so they don't like feedback. They don't want to hear back. And then they become the expert on everything.
Well, Kara, the level of projection that you just unleashed there is unworldly, to be honest with you. So let's just go through this. Frequently wrong but never in doubt. Russia hoax. Find people on both sides. Hunter Biden laptop story. And on and on. That was the leftist media and the Democrats, Kara. Having a lot of people that always say yes to you. You only talk to people you agree with. A man wakes up and says, today I'm a woman. And then all of you guys go, yes, you are a woman. You are literally the yes people. When someone pushes back, suddenly they become the enemy. You mean like how the Democrats call everyone a Nazi who leave their party? RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, all of these people were Democrats. Now the Democrats call them their enemy. They live in a world that's small and comfortable. That's called the liberal safe space. This very show is an example of that. They don't want feedback. They don't want to hear back. The left has a monopoly on censoring a speech. So everything you just said is pure projection, and you're not even self-aware enough to realize it. No wonder you're morphing into Rachel Maddow. And that's exactly how the left operates. You accuse everyone of doing what you yourselves are doing.
It was that you were using a non-classified open source technology on your personal cell phone to share what any military expert not named Pete Hegseth would say is classified information.
They really think we're stupid. They're saying, like, this is not classified information. But what is classified then? His golf games? What? What is classified if not to attack another country? Yeah. We're not that dumb. We're not.
Well, Joy, if that was the case, I won't be sitting here. But look, adding Jeffrey Goldberg, a far-left journalist known for his anti-Trump hoaxes, to a group chat was a screw-up. Cannot sugarcoat that. But here's the thing. Why would they choose Signal over a government communication system? Well, because the government's communication system is so old and unsecured that even Hillary Clinton, a good friend of yours, didn't want to use it. She created her own server. In fact, her team pointed to vulnerabilities in the federal system as their defending argument. So my question is, were you people this outraged when Hillary bypassed the federal system?
If you're so concerned about protecting who you consider women, why don't you spend less time monitoring bathrooms and address the material mortality crisis in this country? Why don't you end the 15% gender gap? If you care that much that you got to do all that, if you care about women, why don't we feel it?
Well, Whoopi, you have all the same rights as everyone else. And you, including all of the geniuses on this panel, you make more money than 99.9% of men in the US. So you do feel it. You're just dishonest about it, okay? So are you dishonest about the 15% gender gap, leaving out factors like women taking 70% of family leave, holding over 60% of part-time jobs, which pay less per hour. And we could go on and on. But let me ask you this. Let's find a common ground, okay? Would you say the mandatory draft should apply to women like it does to men?
And the statistics are shocking. Like, women are 15% more likely to get a 4-year college degree. Boys compromise 2/3 of the lowest 10%. The risk of suicide is 4 times greater for our boys and young men. It goes on and on and on that somehow along the way we've maybe left boys behind. And it, as Wes Moore reiterated, it does not mean we don't focus on girls and women and all the things. It's not zero sum.
And now you have these young boys, they're looking at an algorithm. More and more radicalizing content is getting fed to them to tell them to hate girls, to tell them to hate themselves, and they're turning to the darkest corners of the internet.
Wait, Alicia, I won't call it radicalizing content to tell boys to hate themselves and hate women. Every school and college in the Western society, at least, is telling the students that men are the problem. That is the algorithm that you people never talk about, okay? Across education, media, culture, and governance, manhood is vilified as the enemy. That's just the reality and the default narrative. Even Robert washed up De Niro knows that. He just doesn't want to talk about it because he plays the tough guy only in movies, okay? In reality, he cries about Trump hurting his feelings, perfectly showcasing masculinity's decline. But Sarah just went through some of the data, showing that men are actually having it worse than women. Yet your takeaway is that, well, young men noticing that are being radicalized, while completely ignoring how these institutions are the ones systematically pushing an anti-man agenda.
But is there anybody getting your ire up these days more than usual?
Nerds.
Yeah,
The nerds that own the politician.
tech
All these tech nerds that want to build robots because they don't know how to talk to hot women.
Yeah.
They're gonna take over the world.
Wait, Bill, just to make sure, that was comedy, right? Because if Elon is a nerd, nerds try to get hot women, if that was you being funny, you have definitely lost it. Nerds. That's like 5th grade level sense of humor, which fortunately for you, but unfortunately for humanity as a whole, worked on an adult liberal audience. And honestly, I don't know what happened to you, but whatever it is, it's sad. It's very sad to see you be as funny as Joy Behar.